going, guys? My name is James Thomas, and I am the builder of this 41 Dodge Business Coupe Ratrod. It is coined the name of Aviation Rat because it bases its theme off of an old school fighter plane. This was my first client build with my new business, JSE. I also started this business with my best friend, Ubaldo. He's the co-owner of the business with me. But the first build was for me to build this, and which I did all on my own. So, little story behind it. I was actually at a local, what would you call it, like a fair or something like that. And I actually had put my truck, Big Bacon, in it, my 49 Ford F1 in it. And I was just showing it off or whatever. I wasn't expecting anything to come of it. And this gentleman approached me and said that he had a car that he wanted built, couldn't find anybody to do it. He liked what I had going on with my truck, so he was interested in me building it. And you know, I was interested, obviously, so went and checked out the car. It was pretty rough around the edges, based off what I could see, but you know what, I went ahead and tried to tackle it anyways. So I got the car back to my shop, and I basically found out it was in really bad shape from the previous shop that had worked on it. The floors had to be cut out and redone. The frame was crooked, so I had to cut the frame apart and fix it and build the new frame sections. So long story short, what I was left with in the end was just the shell of the cab and then the center section of the frame, which was the original frame. So it's been a long journey. It took me about 6 months to do, start to finish. And I would say my biggest hiccups on it all was obviously waiting on the mail for things to show up that I had to buy, and due to what's going on in the world right now, didn't really help the case. So without further ado, let me go around and show you around it. Alright, so if you guys want to know more, or basically see how it started out, I actually do have other videos on my YouTube if you do want to go, you know, check them out and see the shape and all the stuff that was wrong with it. I got a couple of videos kind of detailing how it started. So, but anyways, so I guess starting here, the rockers had a lot of rust in it, so cut those out and made basically aluminum rockers. This has a 6-stage fake patina paint on it, also sprayed and did by myself. Same thing with Big Bacon. I started to learn how to do a little bit of lettering. So this is the gentleman's company that owns it. It's called Aircraft Extrusion here in Chico, California. Basically what they specialize is aviation grade metal, which is aluminum. So basically his only instructions were to keep it following an airplane theme. That was basically his only instructions. And he wanted holes and a lot of aluminum. So, you know, I took those few requirements that he asked for and ran with it. And I think I went above and beyond of what he requested. So, the motor is a Dodge 318 punched out to a 325. It's got forged pistons and forged connecting rods. Let's see what else is done to it. As far as that, that's pretty much how it is. It's got the Holley Sniper EFI on it, and the actual harness for the Sniper has been incorporated into the body harness, so it's not just an afterthought. It's actually all plumbed in together, and it's ran into the fuse board and then to the relay, so it's all kind of just one containment. Let's see, all the plumbing is supplied by Phoenix Industry, so everything is AN. Let's see, the radiator is tucked into the grill shell. and the fan is on the front side. So basically, to get to the radiator cap, you just take this top shroud off, this top quick release cover off, I should say, and you can get to the radiator cap and all that. So all the suspension has been done and designed by me in three-dimensional space. So kind of following the same theme of the speed holes. So made the links. This is 2/4 pieces of steel welded together to make it a 1/2 inch thick. Everything is done. All the bag brackets and everything also done. Everything was TIGged as an assembly on the bench and then MIG welded to the frame. So speed holes kind of follow this old school theme, and it's, you know, basically everywhere you look you can see holes and holes. Let's see, made the catch can. Try to get away from that old school like breathers that people put on valve covers. Had these covers laser engraved. Everything that needs to come off, all the panels are all quick latches. Makes serviceability and access to everything a little bit easier. So the exhaust has also been custom made. It's stainless. It's been TIG welded together. These are lakeside headers. The gauntlets used to spin, but as with heat and spinning stuff inside the exhaust normally don't last very long. So I've fixed these about, I don't know, 5 times, and I just decided it was best if they just stayed stationary. So that's where they're at. They used to spin. We got some bullets feeding down to them, kind of make it, you know, look like a machine, you know, old school fighter plane, you know, machine gun gauntlet. Let's see, so from the front cab mount forward is all custom frame, so that way everything was straight now. Same thing with the back, so about from here back is all, it's got a whole custom frame. It houses a Ford Thunderbird independent rear end. And just kind of the theme of this was try to do everything myself and make everything myself where I didn't have to buy anything. You know, I wanted to design and stretch my knowledge, so made the taillight brackets that bolt onto the frame, license plate mount. You know, we got the fuel tube goes up onto the quarter, the rear quarter. So my background is with motorcycles, so I like to use motorcycle parts on cars just because they're small and compact and pretty cool. So took this old school cap, you know, cut out some pieces and machined some pieces and basically welded it to the cap so that way it bolts on like that. So, and it just falls down and then feeds into this beer keg that I turned into a rocket or a missile, if you will. So again, following the theme of an old school fighter plane, and you know, it's a really interesting piece to look at. It's got the fuel sending unit built into it. I built and designed the fuel pump hanger, and then it's also got a fuel level in it, so it's actually a pretty functional piece. And then as far as structural rigidity, I mean, beer kegs are pretty strong, so I mean, obviously you don't want to run into the back of it, but if you're in case of an accident, they are built to crumple and not rupture. So in theory it should be okay, but yes, I know it's dangerous and the owner knows it's on the dangerous side, but shouldn't be following that close anyways. And there's also a fire extinguisher that I'll show you later that's on board. Right here we got these kind of bullet style taillights, which is another little touch from my motorcycle days. Those are actually turn signals off of motorcycles that I converted into taillights. So you got brake, turn, and then reverse lights. let's see if we can get some of the suspension. So, of course, all the builds I like to do are on air ride. Everything is Brady loomed with Deutsch connectors. The windows are Lexan all the way around. So the artwork on the side is, you know, it's my business initials, and then 530 is the area code here. It's named Aviation Rat. These are all painted on, and then artificially aged, so they're not stickers. Got a little bit of stitching done. There's a, you know, this is still technically a Ratrod, so it's not, far as, you know, the years that it's been on this earth, there's still dents and dings and, you know, a couple of rust spots, but that's kind of what the owner discussed, is that he wants to keep it old. He doesn't want it to be so nice that he's not going to be able to drive it. So this still is a Ratrod. So I kind of wanted to give it that kind of, you know, old Rosie the Riveter, planes are riveted together type look. So there was molding that went down the whole side of the car, and it had these holes that held the molding on. And I thought it'd be cool if I just did some rivets. So these are actually stainless button head screws that I TIG welded the Allen closed, and then went all the way up and down both sides with it. Let's see. The hinges were another thing that I modeled, and made and designed, and I actually manufacture these in three-dimensional space. So they're kind of just a universal hinge system for opening stuff, really. So let me open up the trunk lid and I'll show you what we got going on. And the trunk is latched with two quick latches. So we got an Optima yellow top in one of my manufactured battery boxes, all aluminum. Kind of still following that theme of a fighter jet. It's got a bomb or a missile or rocket, whatever you want to call it. It has the air tank. It's aired up with AccuAir. Of course, it's got rivets. So the whole floor structure in the trunk and then inside the car, all this has been made. There was nothing there. No structure, no nothing. So it started off as a 41 Dodge Business Coupe. As you can tell, the whole rear end has been shortened up because this deck lid is normally like, it's super long. And then also it had, these arches have been cut open and, you know, open to kind of make it follow that, you know, open wheel race car hot rod type thing. So the underside of the car has been coated, has been primed, etch primed, and then coated with bed liner or Raptor liner to, you know, basically try to preserve the life of this vehicle as long as possible. Again, so actually there was door handles on here that were like, they stuck out on the profile of the car like super wide, and I didn't really like how it looked from the back view. So I actually had a set of hinges that I had cut out that I showed you on the trunk lid, and I made them into door handles. And then kind of same thing, I had some extra ones that I cut out for hinges, and I wanted to make windows in case he, you know, wants to drive when it's cold or it's raining, and it also makes it a lot easier to wash a car when you have windows. So basically the window pivots at this point and then rotates up, and then this is the lock that holds the window in place. Basically it's a C-clamp that I cut and then, you know, made a little star to twist it in, so that way it applies pressure. So basically trying to keep it really mechanical, keep the car really mechanical. And then we got mirrors, same thing back to the motorcycle parts. These are motorcycle mirrors attached to some custom mounts that I cut out. And then we got some access to the brake master, and then, you know, all the electronics. All right, let's go inside. So, custom made door cards. Video probably doesn't do it justice, but these things are huge. Huge door cards. So there's a lot going on the inside. There's the fire extinguisher in case anything bad does happen. Right there is a panel that's using quick latches to basically get to all the electrical. The floor mats or heel toe plates are also quick latched in, along with the rear ones. See, we got an old school CB radio. Got a throttle out of a plane, which has a pull for parachute, and then the other one is ejection seat. You know, in case you get tired of your passenger, you can go ahead and pull that and send him on his way. So actually the cool thing about this is that all these gauges work. So there's this one, and there's another one on the other side that matches. They're both compasses. We got a clock over there. We got a speed and tach, and then we got, you know, oil pressure, temp, voltage, and fuel. Right over there is a air manifold to each engine on an old school plane. So that's been converted to an air gauge, airbag gauge. Down here we got a yaw pitch roll gauge. That's mechanical, so basically when your car is, you know, basically if you were to take a sharp turn, it kind of would tell you what you're banking at. Let's see what else. We got, this one's pretty cool. This one's your G-force unit calculator. So that's mechanical. So basically if you were to like launch from a stop, it would kind of tell you what your G-force is mechanically. And then we got, you know, functional toggle switches. So that's your power on, start. And then we got a USB charger, because of course you gotta charge your phone. Those are a closer look. So I kind of cut out all these like beauty plates or beauty rings to hold these old school gauges and the newer gauges, and kind of give it all uniform, kind of give it that old school plain vibe, so that way everything kind of matched and it's coherent. So right here we got vents on both sides. That's actually for the heater. There's actually a working heater in this car that will go through there, and then it will defrost the windshield through these holes up here. And then over here we got your overhead switch panel, which is, you know, headlight, heater, left and right turn signal, and then up down for the bags. We got some ammo canisters for storage and armrest. Got the little Holley Terminator screen tucked in there. Let's see. Brake and throttle pedal. Again, made from scratch. So the whole floor structure in here, everything that holds the floor, the structure, the floor pan, everything is one-off, custom made. Same with the dash, obviously. So Dodge Business Coupes. This originally started off as just a two-seater, and then it had a big partial shelf, you know, that went up and then back. So the client actually has a couple kids, and he has the room, so might as well make it where his kids can fit. So he's got a little pull latch to lift the seats up, and then the seats fold up, and then the byproduct of that is a bunch of storage. So I actually upholstered the seats to match the front, so that way everything matches. I also did all the carpet in the car as well. So, you know, with the structure, made, you know, the rear firewall and everything. So a lot of days. A lot of days and hours put into this car for the 6 months period that it was built. Basically, my thought was, the sooner I get it done, the sooner I can get paid, and the sooner I can move on to my next project. So right now I'll just do a slow walk around just so you guys can catch maybe some details that I kind of went fast over. Alright, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I think I covered everything that I wanted to share with you guys. Well, I know I'm probably forgetting something. Like I said, this car has been, you know, 98% built and handmade from scratch, and the other percentage is, you know, stuff that you have to buy, hardware, fasteners, you know, stuff like that, stuff you just can't get around. So this whole vehicle has been a learning experience as far as, you know, paint and aging paint and trying to make it look old. I got to further my skill in fabricating with aluminum and TIG welding, and again strengthening my background in engineering with modeling stuff for real life applications, as far as, you know, suspension geometry. You know, modeling in three-dimensional space to make sure I get the travel and the angles and all that stuff right. The same with, you know, the hinges, real life application. I wanted to make sure that it could hold a certain amount of weight and, you know, follow an arc and all that stuff. All that stuff is, you know, done in three-dimensional space where it can be calculated and gone through strength and weakness analysis and make sure that I don't have any issues. So it's been a great car to work on, and the client to work with has been awesome. I have zero complaints about him. You know, he's been a great guy. Probably about the best first client you could ask for. So, oh, and one last thing, I just want to say a huge thanks to Phoenix Industries for sponsoring both the builds, and the Sema Young Guns for letting me be a part of this. A little bit of history we made this year with having 2 of my vehicles that I entered win in 1 year. It's never been done before, which is pretty cool, and I'm just over the moon that we got to make a little bit of history with the Young Guns. And just to show you guys out there that if you're watching this, it's a little bit of inspiration. You know, if you put your head down and stick to it, you can have 2 or 3 builds done in 1 year and compete and win. So it's nice to show you guys that it can be done, and that's all I gotta say. Thank you.